Okay, so I just trimmed off the ends of this material using the same jig. Hopefully you saw that. Hopefully you can see that. So I trimmed this thing off. I marked where the cuts on these ends are going to go. And I think I'm actually going to hold off on cutting those until I get the veneer down. And I'm not sure if it really matters, but I like having a little bit more surface here. I don't really know why. I can't explain it. What I did do though is I trimmed off the excess material on that front edge all the way around, and hopefully you can kind of catch from that line that I still have between 1/8 and 1/4 around. So I'm in good shape here. I'll trim all that down after the veneer goes on. The last step I need to do in preparation of putting down veneer is take care of any of these gaps that I might have. So this is a good size one, and I guess I can't do this as well as I thought. There's a gap. I can see it goes all the way through there. I've got a smaller gap here. I'm less worried about that one. This larger one is concerning for a couple of reasons, and I've got a longer but not a wider one on this end. So I'm going to take care of these two on both faces. So what I'm going to do to clean those up is utilize some body filler. So Bondo is a popular name, or brand name of this stuff. And for those of you that haven't ever worked with Bondo, it's kind of amazing stuff. Sticks to just about everything. Smells bloody awful, but it is far and away the best thing to do any filling or wood stuff that's not going to be seen. So unfortunately this stuff doesn't come in, just mixing around some of the solvent in there, it's settled. It doesn't come in wood colors, but it dries super hard. Again, this is mostly for the automotive industry, and so it has to be durable and super hard. So that's what this stuff's all about. So there's not a whole lot to the process. It is a two-part system, much like a resin. I'm going to put down, gosh, I don't need that much. Alright, so putting down a good amount here. So first part, I'm going to cover up this lid because it smells horrible. I'm told that the makeup of this is polyester and clay, and I'm sure there's some other stuff in it, but I don't care what it is. I know what it does, and I know how it smells, and it smells horrible. So it's a two-part system. The Bondo here, and then the catalyst is the hardener. This comes in different colors, and it'll also affect the color of this. This is a red hardener. Sometimes it comes in blue. I don't know that that makes any difference. What I was doing off camera is just kind of mixing it inside of the tube. It will also settle, and what happens if you don't mix it prior to opening up the lid, you'll open up the lid, squeeze this out, and then all of the liquid comes out, the solids remain, and that is a surefire way of, well, A, not having the stuff do what you want it to for your repair work, and then B, drying out this little tube. So I'm sure there's a appropriate ratio of how much Bondo and hardener to use. Just a little stripe across this is what we're going to do, and I'll continue to mix this until it is a consistent homogeneous color. And after you've used this for a while, I think you start to get a sense of what the color looks like, and that will give you a sense of how quickly you have to work. So this is a pretty dull or muted color, but it does look fairly consistent, so I'm happy with this. Okay, the thing that I'm showing you, I'm mixing this on plexiglass. A lot of people just find anything to mix this stuff on. Sometimes it's cardboard, sometimes it is wood, both of which are porous, and they'll affect the ratio of your Bondo. So just being cautious of that. Because this plexi is not absorbent, I'm not really worried about this stuff diluting, so it won't accelerate my curing, which is a frustration. It's frustration with resin, it's a frustration with Bondo. If you're doing this and expecting it to stay pliable while you finish your work, that's fantastic. The frustration is when it doesn't behave and it starts to cure before you're ready. That is one of your least favorite things. What else was I going to say? Oh, unlike, and the reason I can hear the question now, why not just use some type of a wood filler? Valid question. You probably have that type of material around. Sometimes people talk about using sawdust and glue, and I hate that for a multitude of reasons, but this stuff doesn't shrink, and that's kind of the big benefit of this. It'll stick to everything, as I mentioned. It also doesn't give you that problem where you have to reapply. So for the most part, I can go with one coat of this and leave it a little bit thick so that I can remove this material after it's cured. Just a quick sanding on this and then you're in good shape. So I'm trying to go diagonally across where the problem area is. If I go with the direction, sometimes it could start to pull this away or out of the gap that we're trying to fill. Okay, this stuff I'm going to leave onto the plexi. The other beauty of this is going to become my measuring tool to see when this is fully cured. I don't want to start poking into this, and there's not enough material on the sides to really gauge what's happening there. It's in the center, and I don't want to start poking in the center there. But this stuff I could work and mess with until I get a good reading on this. Ooh, I need this thing. I will start to clean up this putty knife though as best I can. This is a little bit harder to clean up off of the metal. Again, for its design purpose of working on automotive needs, this will stick to metal. It'll definitely stick to this tool. So the best I can clean this stuff up makes my life a little bit easier. So, all right. So that's that. The last thing I want to talk about before I glue this stuff up is that because of the makeup of this, the chemical composure, I mean, I'm a little concerned about non-epoxy adhesives bonding to this. So after this dries, I'm not dry to the touch, but thoroughly dries throughout, so cures. Then I'll sand it, and then once it's being sanded, then I give it a little shot of shellac. So just an aerosol can and hit that area. The benefit of that is it'll seal it in, it'll allow the adhesive to be absorbed evenly, but it'll also stick. So the shellac sticks to this, the adhesive sticks to the shellac. I at least have a better sense of peace of mind if I have a binder between these two things. Realistically, once this is sanded down, I'm just going to have the thinnest little stripe of this Bondo here. So if I have adhesive connecting to the wood in front of and behind where that Bondo filler is, the veneer can't go anywhere. So maybe it's irrelevant that I spray this or not. It makes me feel better about the process. So that's that. So once this is dried, then I can go to the next step, which is going to be apply the adhesive or apply the veneer, and it's going to look fantastic. I'm excited about doing that. Okay, see you guys in a bit.